MMA gods, it's me again, making another prayer to you. I really hope you listen this time, because I've made 2 of these so far, and you haven't listened to either of them. I prayed that Jorge Masvidal would beat Kamaru Usman by flying knee KO when he stepped in on short notice against Usman in their first fight. I made another prayer video where I prayed that Conor McGregor would come back and defeat Dustin Poirier at UFC 264. Poirier ended up TKOing McGregor, and Usman held Masvidal against a cage for 5 rounds and stomped on his toes at 5 AM UK time. So maybe I shouldn't be making this video, because it seems like when I ask for something for the better of the sport, not only do you not listen and don't make it happen, you make something worse happen entirely, and that's a problem to me. And it's really annoying. So hopefully, the 3rd time's the charm, and you listen to this. Dear MMA gods, please let Jiri Prochazka flying knee KO Glover Teixeira in the first round of their matchup today in the main event of UFC 275. Please let Jiri Prochazka brutally KO Glover Teixeira in the first round and take over as the new light heavyweight champion with the samurai look that he has, and become the wild man that is promotable as a champion of the light heavyweight division. I like Glover Teixeira. He seems like a really nice guy, I'll be honest. He really does seem like a nice guy. But grandparents are really nice people, usually. And Glover Teixeira reminds me of a grandparent. Jiri Prochazka reminds me of a wild man from the forest who is here to wreak havoc on the poor villagers and take what's his, the light heavyweight crown. One of those 2 descriptions is better for the light heavyweight division, and it's not the grandparent one, who in 10 years will be in a care home. I beg of you, I like Glover Teixeira, and hearing about his old stories from the past, when I was with my dad in 2001, when I begin my career, and I do the gardening, you know, hey. Like, I like that. It's wholesome. I get it. It makes me smile. He's had enough happiness. And it's sad to say that about someone else. But he's had enough happiness. He has defied the odds every single time on his lead up to the light heavyweight world championship. He has had enough happiness. It is time for an end. I have picked Glover Teixeira to win this matchup as an underdog this weekend, because I feel as though he's going to expose Jiri Prochazka on the ground and submit him in the first round by rear naked choke, is what I think is going to happen. I really don't want that to happen. I really want Jiri Prochazka to brutally finish Glover Teixeira and end this happiness streak for him and start the new era of BJP. Jiri Prochazka. Okay? That's what I want. I don't want Glover anymore. He's made his money. He'll probably make a flat $1 million to show against Jiri Prochazka as well. There's only so many stories I can hear about him reminiscing from his past back in 1960 when he was at the ripe young age of 30. Okay? There's only so many embedded episodes I can watch. It's been wholesome so far, but I don't think I can get through another one of him wandering round like an OAP and reminiscing with all of the now retired fighters that he's already older than and he's still a world champion. It confuses me and my nose is itching. It's now not. Jiri Prochazka is maybe the most potentially marketable guy that doesn't speak English as a first language we have ever had. He has put in the time to learn the English language for us English-speaking fans. Okay? He has devoted a long part of his life to being able to communicate with us. So has Glover, but Jiri is new to the block and he didn't have to do that. He could have Charles Oliveira'd it. And I don't mind Charles Oliveira despite him not speaking English. I love Charles Oliveira. But Jiri is trying. He's very promotable. He lives in the woods. He has all of these things to say. And his fight style is just way more fun to watch than Glover Teixeira. And it's not even comparable. Glover Teixeira takes you down. Maybe he gets hurt early on, and that is an exciting Glover Teixeira fight. But if he has his own way, he's going to take you down, get into half guard, and total strike you until you give up a submission, and then he'll get the submission win over you. Jiri Prochazka sends you to the Shadow Realm at almost an 100% rate. If that man were to be a defending champion of the light heavyweight division, and was able to defend the belt a few more times after this, he would be a superstar. And he would bring in great value. And you know why else I want Jiri Prochazka to be a champion? Because if he wins this, and then he beats the winner of Ankalaev versus Smith, Israel Adesanya, if he beats Jared Cannonier, and then maybe beats the winner of Strickland versus Teixeira, is going to be looking to come back up to the light heavyweight division. And let me read you some names of matchups. Israel Adesanya versus Glover Teixeira. Israel Adesanya versus Magomed Ankalaev. Middleweight champ versus light heavyweight champ. Super fight status matchup. Israel Adesanya versus Anthony Smith. Middleweight champ versus light heavyweight champ. Super fight matchup. Israel Adesanya versus Jiri Prochazka. Middleweight champion versus light heavyweight champion. Super fight matchup. That is what it's all about. That's how you sell pay-per-views. And right now, we desperately need to sell pay-per-views. This won't sell over 200k. This card won't sell over 200k. Really doubt that. It's going to be a real low pay-per-view. We have not sold over 500k this entire year long so far. From the start of the year until now. Ngannou is called a superstar at heavyweight. He sold 200k pay-per-views at UFC 270. UFC 271's numbers weren't released. UFC 272 numbers weren't released. UFC 273 with Covington and Masvidal weren't released. UFC 274 with Oliveira and Gaethje were released and they were 400k. If they're willing to release 400k, what numbers aren't they willing to release? ESPN pays this company 500k. Every single pay-per-view card. If they can't sell over that at any point, ESPN loses money. So they're not going to want to re-sign with the UFC. And we need that platform. I beg of you, please, allow Jiri Prochazka to terminate the career of Glover Teixeira and send him brutally to the Shadow Realm so we can have another chance at selling some pay-per-views. Okay? I love the old man stories. And maybe in the next embedded episode, we'll tune in episode 2 to Glover Teixeira playing a game of bingo, and then maybe in episode 3, he'll knit someone a scarf. I understand. He's old. We get the message. Every single embedded episode should basically say at the start of it, by the way, guys, Glover's an old fuck. Just thought we'd put that disclaimer out there. This entire Embedded episode is going to try and get the point across that Glover's really old. Because that's every episode. I want Jiri Prochazka to be a world champion. I want him to be a dominant defending world champion. Okay? Make it happen. Don't let me down. I'll be really disappointed in you. MMA gods. Now, I understand that you don't like doing what's good for the sport. McGregor comes back, he loses. Okay, we could have had McGregor versus Oliveira, and then maybe a McGregor moving up to 170. Covington didn't beat... Imagine Covington as champ. Imagine Masvidal as champ. All of the super fight potential we would have. All of the great matchups we would have had. Maybe a Masvidal Adesanya. Maybe a Covington Adesanya. Super fight matchup. You don't listen to me, MMA gods, and it's hindering the sport. I hope I haven't jinxed it by making this video and made you double down on Glover Teixeira somehow one-punch KOing Jiri Prochazka and not only stopping him from becoming a champion, but ruining his hype in the future completely because we've seen him get flatlined by an old man. He is 40-something years of age. I love Glover. He's a nice guy. Him being a champion at light heavyweight is a disgrace to the light heavyweight division. How are we supposed to convince people that this is a competitive division when a 40-something-year-old man, a 40-something-year-old man is beating these young up-and-comers, not Jan Blachowicz, I understand, but these other prospects before that are in their 30s? How? How can't a guy who's been training from childhood in Jiri Prochazka come in and beat a 40-year-old man? He is 40! He's had more injuries and surgeries than Jiri's had fights. He's 40! Do not let him defend his belt. I'm sick of it. I'm not acting like I care anymore about Glover and his stories. End him! Jiri Prochazka, flying knee KO, make it happen. I'm picking Glover by rear naked choke in the first round, and I'll cry. I won't be happy if I'm correct. I'll cry. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip, I'll see you later. Goodbye.